As they drove farther from the city, the ambient noise diminished, gradually replaced by the sound of wind moving through the pine trees. Upon arriving, Nate parked the car in their designated space while Sophia exhibited noticeable relief. "We made it," she remarked, her expression notably more at ease than it had been throughout the week. The air carried a distinct scent of moist earth. Nate smiled as he retrieved the tent bag from the trunk. "To begin, let's set up our shelter," he remarked. He proceeded to assemble the poles and canvas with practiced efficiency, demonstrating a routine familiarity with the process of constructing their temporary accommodation. A little while later, the tent stood, a proud blue dome against the green woods. They stood side by side, hands on their hips. Sophia admired Nate's handiwork. Sophia joked, "Not bad for a city boy," she said, laughing and bumping her shoulder against his. She grabbed the campsite brochure to see what type of activities were available, her eyes scanning over options from birdwatching walks to canoe rentals. With a playful grin, she pointed out the nature trail that wound through the woods, suggesting they try it after settling in. Nate agreed, and soon they were following a winding path beneath towering pines, sunlight filtering through the branches in golden patches. They paused to watch a chipmunk dart across the trail, laughing quietly so as not to disturb the wildlife. The gentle hike offered them a fresh sense of adventure, the earthy scent of moss and leaves grounding them in the present moment. At the end of the path, the campsite had a quirky, charmingly run-down putt-putt course. It was a ridiculous, wonderful surprise. "I bet you a week of doing dishes I can beat you," Nate challenged, waggling his putter. Sophia rolled her eyes, but her smile was wide. "You're on." She lined up her own shot, a picture of focus, tapping the bright pink ball with a satisfying thwack. It rolled, impossibly, straight through the windmill's blades and into the cup. She turned to Nate with a triumphant smirk. Later, they found a quiet spot by the lake that rented fishing gear. The water, like a sheet of glass, was reflecting the afternoon sun. Sophia baited her hook with a practiced ease she hadn't realized she still possessed. "Remember when your dad taught us how to do this?" she asked softly. Nate cast his line with a smooth motion. "I remember him mostly laughing at me for catching more weeds than fish." He settled onto the dock beside her, their shoulders touching, and they fell into a comfortable silence, watching the tips of their rods. Just as the sun began to dip low, Sophia's rod bent sharply. With a whoop of excitement, she reeled it in, fighting the pull. It was a beautiful, shimmering trout. "Looks like we have dinner," she said, beaming at Nate, her eyes sparkling more than the fish. As twilight settled, Nate skillfully built a fire. The crackle and pop of the logs was the only music they needed. He poked at the embers with a long stick, coaxing the flames higher, his face illuminated by the warm, flickering light. Sophia held a marshmallow over the flames, turning it slowly until it was a perfect, toasted gold. The simple act felt like luxury. The sweet, gooey treat was a taste of childhood and uncomplicated joy. After munching on roasted marshmallows, Sophia and Nate grabbed a fish and cooked it on a stick. They had forgotten to pack the portable grill, so they used what they had on hand. The fish turned out pretty good, flaky and tender, with just enough smoky flavor from the fire to make it feel like a true campsite feast. They ate with quiet satisfaction, savoring each bite. Though it wasn't very cool outside, they wrapped a large blanket around their shoulders just to make things feel cozy, as they sipped hot cocoa from tin mugs. The fire danced before them, a mesmerizing display of orange and red. Nate spoke about how much he had missed being under the stars, enjoying the quiet, the only noise being the crackle of the fire. Sophia leaned her head on his shoulder. "It's not just quiet, it's peaceful." The fire had burned down to glowing coals. They laid a blanket out in a clearing and looked up. The sky was a velvet black canvas, splattered with a breathtaking number of stars. "There," Nate whispered, pointing. "Orion's belt. And the Big Dipper." He traced the constellations with his finger, telling her about the stories behind them. Sophia traced the shapes with her eyes, imagining the ancient stories being told. Their hands found each other on the blanket, and in that shared silence beneath the endless stars. With each gentle breath, they discovered a new kind of peace, one that belonged only to the quiet hours and the company of someone who understood. As they lay side by side, the universe above felt both infinite and intimate, holding their small world together in the soft darkness. They didn't speak for a long time after that, simply holding hands and getting lost in the immensity above. The next morning, the sun filtered through the tent, waking them gently. The air was crisp and clean. As they sipped coffee by the smoking remnants of last night's fire, a comfortable silence settled between them. They didn't need words. They had found their quiet, and in it, they had fallen in love with one another all over again.